Director, thank you for being here today. You get double duty, as we've talked about before. I want to focus on a couple of things. First, the characterization of the creation of the CFPB is just astounding to me because people talk about it since 2008 forward, the cause and the need for it. It actually started in 1998 when that administration decided that home ownership should go up from the 60s, low 60s to the mid 70s, and it did over a few years. Problem with that, to do that, they created things like no-income verification loans, low-income verification loans, and the documentation went down, and people took advantage of that. So it's a much more complicated issue. My concern today is that it's the only regulatory body I can find that has no oversight by the U.S. Congress. And let me ask you a question directly. Are there any responsibilities the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has today that were not already under the purview of the OCC, FDIC, Federal Reserve, and the FTC?
I think there's two. I think we alone have we have some additional scope under the UDAP statutes that nobody else has, and I think we're the only ones who are explicitly charged with promulgating rules and regulations on fair debt collection practice. But other than that, the answer to your question is no.
In your opinion, do those two needs, those two charges, do they justify being outside the purview and the oversight of the United States Congress?
No, you could protect consumers without me being here.
We already have at least 4 federal agencies who are charged with consumer financial protection. Is that correct?
I think it's at least 4, yes, sir.
Now, the next thing is, it's at least 4. These are the 4 major ones. The next question I have, and I get questions about this all the time, when I tell people what's being collected, they are really apoplectic. I just got back from China and talked to the 2 of the largest market cap companies in the world, Tencent and Alibaba. And over there, they're collecting data, and the consumers just assume that the federal government has access to their data. American citizens do not have that assumption. We had Equifax in here a few months ago and grilling their CEO over the exposure of and rightfully so, Social Security numbers. But your agency today, prior to your taking this responsibility, has the right to collect every credit card transaction, every debit card transaction, every car loan application, and every home loan application package. Is that generally correct?
Yeah, my understanding is that, yes, we do have the right to collect that data.
So the question then is, how is that stored? Where is it stored? Are there third parties? Have you been hacked? Can you provide a report to this committee with regard to that data? Have there been any breaches, to your knowledge, before you got there and since you've been director?
We have been able to your point, Senator, and I want to be careful about what I say and be happy to talk about this more in private, but we have been able to document about 200-odd, I think 240 lapses in our data security.
Lapses, is that a breach?
I think data got out that should not have gotten out.
So they call that exfiltration, right? That's when data gets exfiltrated out of your control, and we don't know who. Do we know who?
So I think in that circumstance, we put up stuff that we should not have put up.
Okay.
There's another 800 that we suspect that we haven't been able to confirm.
So
yet.
800 potential exfiltration so far. And this could be not just Social Security numbers. This could be my personal bank account. Is that correct?
Could be a lot of different things, yes, sir, including those.
But every single factor that I have as an individual in the United States, every single financial factor can be reviewed and can be collected and can be exposed by the CFPB. Is that correct?
Everything that we keep is subject to being lost, yes, sir.
Thank you. Has any of that information been lost?
I don't want to say anything, but I'm more
it.
than happy to talk to all of you about what I've talked with the IG about it. I think it actually does more harm than good to mention in a public setting.
Agreed. Mr. Chairman, I would propose that we have a follow-up meeting. You're not obligated to do that, I understand, under the statute.
I'm happy to do it.
But I would love to request a classified conversation about this because I am absolutely deathly concerned about the exposure of our data in this rogue agency that has no responsibility to this Congress about the security of financial information that nobody in my state really understands that they're collecting. I'm very concerned about that, and I've seen the other side just recently in China, where if we decide to go in that direction, we've got the rogue agency here that will absolutely do that. So I'm very concerned about the data collection. Tell me about the third-party people who are storing this data today.
Actually, we store it ourselves. Senator, I have to get back to that. I was under the impression we kept most of our own, but I've just been told some of our data is kept by third parties.
It is. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
I just don't know who.
Okay. I'd be happy to find out and let you know.
To me, I'm very concerned about that. We went through laborious questioning of one company, an individual corporation, about the collection of Social Security numbers. And yet I'm talking about an agency here that has every single financial fact about every single United States citizen, potentially, and we have no control over that.
We have what's called loan level data, which is fairly detailed.
Right. It's very detailed.
Yeah.
And by low level, you mean it goes all the way to the second decimal place. Is that correct?
Loan level, but yeah, so when you put it on a loan application, we
Right.
know about it.
Now, what's included, I'm sorry, I'm out of time, but what's included in a home mortgage application is pretty much every financial fact about an individual. Is that correct?
We'd like to collect a lot of information about you when you,
And
when
to what
financial
use?
institutions do when you
To
take a
what
loan.
use? How does that information help the agency protect me from what we call predatory lenders?
We share your concerns, which is one of the reasons we have already changed our data collection and are continuing to work on trying to
Would you provide us an update on
be
that?
more than happy. In
Thank you,
fact, I
sir.
think I mentioned we've already commissioned a report, which we will be sharing with you.
Thank you, sir.